Challenger number 11. Luvnest is stacking them up pretty high at this point, getting a little ridiculous. Grant playing as U.S. Forces his new challenger, Grant. Playing as U.S. Forces on Simoski Winter. His loadout is airborne recon and rifle. Luvnest fielding Oberkommando West with fortifications, scavenge, and Luftwaffe ground forces. Double rear echelon troop opening for Grant. Pretty common on this map for the extra capping power. Starting with riflemen to run them straight towards the central village while rear echelon troops move to capture the south. Luvnest goes with the Volksgrenadier opening, setting them to do back capping in the north while his Sturmpios go straight for the central village to maybe chase off an early squad of rear echelon troops.
This is what we're trained for.
Volksgrenadier are on the line.
This is what we're trained for.
Sturmpios taking control of this sector. Sturmpios jump into the building as rear echelon troops make their way. Somewhat close range, chases them off. Probably going to be able to force this retreat. Rear echelon troops got a little too close. Sturmpios are just going to chase them to death. There's nowhere for them to run or hide. Grant should just retreat that. That's not going to survive. There's no support coming. There's nothing that can save them. They're just taking damage and giving those Sturmpios free veterancy and kills. I don't know what Grant thinks is going to happen here. Sturmpios reload for another burst. Squad's falling very low. They may not even be able to retreat at this point. Probably not. Luvnest will chase them and try and wipe this on retreat. One model down. Blocking successfully on the reload. And that's probably a wipe. Green cover might save them. Nope. Rear echelon troops already wiped. Grant off to a pretty terrible start. Volksgrenadiers engaging against rear echelon troops here on the fuel point. Sturmpios will follow up that wipe, grabbing this sector, and Volksgrenadiers are going to hold the central village against 2 squads of riflemen. For now, 3rd squad of riflemen also on the field. And these Sturms haven't even taken any damage. Jump back into this building to engage against the riflemen here on the fuel point. That squad will retreat. Volksgrenadiers taking control of the center VP. These Volksgrenadiers taking control of the north fuel. Actually kind of winning against these riflemen. Well, not really winning, but they actually engaged better than I was expecting them to. Dropped 2 models pretty quickly right there before being forced to retreat. These 2 squads in the center taking control of the victory point and strategic point. Riflemen will grab the church. Sturmpios have dropped 1 model and killed 6. I'm probably going to have to retreat to safety soon. Engaging a medium range and green cover against 1 window. Probably win the engagement slowly over time, but support is pretty likely to arrive eventually. But Luvnest has gone tier 3 instead of tier 2, so he doesn't have healing other than the medic boxes, which we have seen him use before, by the way. So, pretty decent chance of that happening again. Grant is going to field Airborne Company. And he chose that pretty early, so he might be thinking about Pathfinders, or maybe he just knows that's definitely what he wants to do. These 2 squads are going to retreat from the riflemen inside the building.
Heavy fortification now available.
And rear echelon troops are taking control of the munitions point here in the north. MG-34 is set up here on the fuel to get that captured. And MG-34 is setting up inside this house. M20 making its way to the front line to put pressure on Luvnest early, who does not have any anti-tank yet. His decision to go Luftwaffe means he will have access to the Panzerfaust 3 CPs, but until then, this M20 will have total domination of the field. Luvnest does not currently have the munitions for a Panzerschreck, since I think he's had fuel transfer active for a little while. Maybe not, he just has a lot of fuel. Just has a lot of fuel because he has both fuel points. He will be forced to retreat out of the central village though, and no vehicle has been queued up by Luvnest. He has tier 3, but he hasn't used it for anything. I don't know for sure if he's going to go Puma or M20. Or Puma or Flak half-track. M6 anti-tank line going down here in the road, but I'm pretty sure Luvnest has vision of that. That was a mistake. Luvnest will sweep that easily. In fact, he has already queued up the minesweeper, so that M6 mine's not going to do anything. Bit of a mistake right there by the M20 to plant that in his opponent's vision range. Puma in production. Volksgrenadiers stalling in this building. Minesweeper will come to clean that mine up already, almost immediately after it got planted. Just wasted munitions. Rifleman taking control of the center VP. There's the mine swept. M20 will push those Volksgrenadiers away from the south house, though. Puma is about to be on the field. Meanwhile, rear echelon troops are taking control of the entire north. MG34 will continue to defend the fuel point for now. Stern Pioneer forces away those riflemen. MG34 in the building. Volksgrenadiers positioning in green cover. M20 trying to bully the Stern Pios out of cover a little bit here. Still pretty much uncountered, but the window during which it will have total domination of the field is rapidly closing. Luvnest will probably be forced to retreat with those Stern Pios by this advancing blob of infantry plus M20. But here it comes. Puma on its way to counter that M20 now. Putting pressure on the riflemen initially. None of these riflemen have Vent 1 yet, by the way, so there's not even really a threat of engine damage, but he does need to be careful of the bazooka in that crew. Luvnest may get a little bold right here, but I think he might want to wait for his minesweeper to come back to the front line. He might be a little afraid of hitting an M6 anti-tank line, but there's nothing planted anywhere right here yet. There's the bazooka into the church, and riflemen will free the M20 to allow it to maybe go plant a mine somewhere and push that M20 away from the middle of this village. Second bazooka hit connects. Puma's going to have to pull back a little bit. Puma does have range on an M20 right here, though. I'm not sure if that M20 should get too bold. It's going to pull back out of Puma range. These two squads of infantry moving up to put pressure on Luvnest and push him out of this area slowly. Look like they will be successful. M20 is going to try and capitalize on this opportunity to chase those Volksgrenadiers to death, but again, Puma is in range to defend. That M20 can't get too aggressive.
A gun crew has been lost.
Target captured.
No enemy
Oh. I was like, what? What happened? Apparently Luvnest was not monitoring an MG34 he was capturing the south fuel with, and this 50 cal just wiped it. Bit of a mistake there by Luvnest. Too busy microwing his Puma, and that's going to be a free MG34 for Grant to recover. That's going to give Grant a nice lead. Volksgrenadiers moving to harass here in the north. Lieutenant takes the center VP and the right side strategic point. Rear echelon troops have arrived to crew the M20 right here. No further M6 mines planted at this point, I don't think, and Luvnest is going to go tier 2 in his base after fielding this Puma. And he does have access to Fallschirmjäger now as well. Fallschirmjäger fielded out of the church for this coming engagement, jump back inside immediately afterward. One of them does drop before they can get back inside though, falling pretty low against this huge blob, plus there's a major retreat point plus ambulance right here. Puma may have to snipe that ambulance if there's going to be any hope of winning this engagement. M20's falling low. Fallschirmjäger force a retreat. The deep snow here might make this kind of a dangerous area for riflemen. If those Fallschirmjäger hit Vet 1, they'll also have access to the frangible grenade. One grenade from Volksgrenadiers forces a full retreat into the red cover by the retreat point. The retreat point will be disabled, and it looks like a full retreat back into the base. Puma moving up with Minesweeper support. Luvnest being as careful as possible to make sure he does not hit an M6 mine, but again, there are no mines here, and that ambulance is probably going to die. Minesweeper has to retreat after falling pretty low. Puma continues to try to snipe the ambulance, but just can't seem to get the shot to connect. Medics decrew the ambulance. Volksgrenadiers move to take control of the cutoff right there, and it looks like Grant has been pushed completely back into his base, and he has not recruited that machine gun either, by the way. He probably should try to do that. It's just been sitting there for free this entire time. Luvnest practically handed it to him. Paratroopers jump inside this building, and Luvnest will back off slightly. Some of his squads had to retreat for healing as well. Did pretty well as Fallschirmjäger during that. Killed 3 models, lost 1. Will be able to heal fully. Stern Pioneers also fully healing here on the tier 2. 2 squads of Volksgrenadiers defending in the middle. This harassing 3rd squad in the north has gotten all territory captured, and a lot of squads retreat and heal in the American base, while this 50 cal continues to defend. In the south, solo, Luvnest may try to recover his MG34 there if he can force that machine gun out somehow. It's got Fallschirmjäger. Still no Vet 1 though, so no frangible grenade. And the Puma could probably force that 50 cal out slowly. And it looks like Luvnest wants to throw up a tier 4 structure here by the cutoff soon. Volksgrenadiers flanking the machine gun. There's the grenade. Fallschirmjäger coming from the east as well. That machine gun will die if it doesn't get out of there. There it goes, falling pretty low. Infantry support is on the way though. Luvnest may have to retreat. He does recover the MG34. 50 cal has also been decrewed. Both Volksgrenadier squads retreat. The MG34 will get away. Fallschirmjäger may be able to bleed some of these infantry squads as well. Puma is engaging here in the center against the Bazooka and Lieutenant. Stern Pioneers put away their Minesweeper to charge against the Lieutenant over open ground. I don't think that's going to go very well, though. They drop 1 model quite quickly and then have to retreat immediately. Should not have charged over open ground straight towards that Lieutenant like that. Fallschirmjäger in this building have not dropped any models yet. They kill 1 rifleman and they are Vet 1, so they have access to the frangible. If they can get that off, they might be able to help turn this engagement for the center. Lieutenant moves to the center VP with bazooka support. There's a Raketenwerfer in the house to protect against vehicles if necessary. There's nothing here yet. Puma is pulling back for some repairs. Luvnest Fallschirmjäger will pull back for repairs, so this 50 cal will be recoverable. And the only really meaningful event during that engagement is that Luvnest recovered his lost MG34, so good recovery. Other than that, nothing really happening. No territory really changing hands. There's the Sherman from Grant, which is a little late, 14-minute Sherman, but it'll be good to have against that Puma. And Luvnest will have to try and protect his Puma against the Sherman with 2 Panzerschrecks, Panzerfaust, Raketenwerfer, and of course the Puma itself, which is Vet 1 and has access to aimed shot if Luvnest can get the munitions together for that. So he definitely has the tools to manage that Sherman. Just has to be very careful of M6 anti-tank mines, and he has been this entire game. He will continue to be. I don't think any more have been planted, but you can tell that Luvnest is very, very carefully keeping that Minesweeper near his Puma anytime he actually wants to move up aggressively. Paratroopers have been upgraded with LMGs. MG34 setting up here towards the building. Volksgrenadiers tossing a grenade. Oh my! How many models did that Panzerschreck shot just kill? Did you see that? Did you see that? That whole paratrooper squad died. I think that was a 6-man squad wipe from a Panzerschreck shot. I don't think the grenade killed anything. Oh my god, I have never seen 6 people killed by one Panzerschreck shot. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. Wow.
Enemy Panzer engaging!
I can't believe that just happened.
Grenadiers ready!
Vehicle crew taking control of these 2 sectors in the south. Folks Grenadiers have recovered the 50 cal right there and will retreat to reinforce. That's gotta be a record. Oh, come on! That's definitely a record, though. I've never seen 6...
Ready!
I've never seen a full paratrooper squad wiped with one Panzerschreck shot before. That was ridiculous.
Attacking in force!
Sherman has just hit the field. It's not doing very well, though. Panzerschrecks and Raketenwerfers managing the threat it poses easily. It's going to pull back for some repairs here in the back. Paratroopers drop from the north, get suppressed, I think, by that MG-34. So they're not off to a great start. Fallschirmjäger in the south will win this engagement easily against this vehicle crew, which is retreating very late. I don't think he's monitoring them. Late retreat, they're going to die. Squad wiped, and that bazooka is no longer a threat to the Puma.
Protect the flank! Kill the crew! Under fire!
The command half-track has been converted to the headquarters building.
Flanking attack!
Grenadiers back to full strength.
Stern Pioneers go into short range on that rifle squad. May try and chase through the deep snow for a wipe. Looks like they're going to get away, though. Luvnest will give up the chase away from that lieutenant. Sherman's been repaired and is heading north to force the machine gun from this building, which it will be successful at doing. Takes heavy damage and is probably going to die. There it goes. Nice swipe with the Sherman. Raketenwerfer has to retreat from a grenade into this building from those paratroopers. Puma needs to backpedal a little bit as well. Paratroopers slowly crawling into the building again, but they don't get one shot by a Panzerschreck this time, fortunately. They're still falling pretty low, though. And there's a Tier 4 structure on the cutoff. Riflemen get a little bit too close and are getting gunned down by a lot of stuff. Stern Pioneers get too close to the Sherman and also have to retreat. That rifle squad does not get away. These 2 squads moving to engage here in the cemetery are going to get suppressed and forced to retreat, and Luvnest will take this engagement easily. Forced to retreat with only 1 squad and has only extremely minor damage on everything else. Couple team weapons retreating into the base. He does need to get that Raketenwerfer back to the front line to protect him against this Sherman, which is the only thing left in Grant's army that is a serious threat to Luvnest, who has a huge resource advantage right now. And victory point advantage. 250 VPs in the lead.
Enemy Panzer! Battle positions! Taking fire! Field promotion! Target captured. Fixed defense position established. Into march! Protect the flank!
MG-34 is falling down to 1 man. Aimed shot from the Puma on the Sherman, bringing it pretty low. Puma cannot snipe. Folks Grenadiers trying to get in range. Fired maybe through the smoke. Aren't going to be able to. Sherman should be able to get to safety. Fallschirmjäger engaging from this area are falling a little low against the paratroopers and riflemen. Hard to engage well with Fallschirmjäger without green cover. That yellow cover just wasn't going to cut it. They lose 2 models and are forced to retreat right there. Vetted rifleman going in on that Puma. It's going to have to pull back to safety as well.
Taking fire! Hostile fire! Hostile fire! Complete!
Grenade toss forces this retreat. Obersoldaten on the field now are just going to make it even harder for this extremely small force of infantry to do anything. Plus the tier 4 structure is suppressing those infantry. They are forced to retreat. Nothing happening anywhere on this battlefield. And he's pretty much just funneling units into a meat grinder for the center right now. There's a 50 cal defending the center, but I don't think it's even been engaged one time. Aimed shot on the Sherman right there again. And it will simply pull back. Luvnest is not going to try and engage that aggressively because his Puma is a little low on health and needs to get that repaired with his stern piles. Needs to continue to just play safe. While he waits for, I guess, a King Tiger, which he's not very far away from with 36 fuel coming in. Has had fuel transfer going probably for a while. His munitions looks kind of low. Now that he has 3 Panzerschrecks, he doesn't feel he needs munitions for anything. He's just going to get the King Tiger out to seal the game.
Battle promotion!
Field reports indicate the enemy is left with only 75 points.
Taking full on fire! Even this on! Point the gun! Use cover!
Fallschirmjäger in the church, engaging against the lieutenant and troopers right there. Sherman's not even fully repaired, but will move to re-engage to support these infantry. The Puma is fully repaired, making its way forward. The church is no longer safe to occupy, falling quite low, and there's a Scot rolling onto the field as well over here. I think, what is that, major artillery? Yes, major artillery just got dropped on that machine gun. As airborne, you have no shortage of useful munition sinks, by the way. He could have thrown that on an LMG upgrade. Instead, spent 120 munitions to basically do nothing. Except for force a retreat, I guess. Did force a machine gun to retreat, but I don't know if that's actually going to help him gain any map control. Overs are going to laser beam that ambulance down. There it goes. Sherman falling low. Fallschirmjäger trying to get in range for a Panzerfaust. Panzerschreck shots connecting as well. Here it comes. Traffic jam on the bridge, and that Sherman will go down to the Faust. Slows the victory point drain with this squad of riflemen, which I think has actually been idle for a while now as well.
Push your attack. They are down to 50 points.
And is that game? That is game. Luvnest takes game 1 with 464 VPs. Short break, and we will go into game 2.